Family Guy Season 22 has been incredibly mid so far in my opinion, and that's putting it kindly.
Oh boy. Oh, this is sad.
And I don't revel in that statement. I honestly hate being a hater. I really want to like these new episodes. I really, really do. Every time I sit down to watch one, I'm always hopeful that the next episode will really deliver. So, with that being said, does episode 14's fat actor give us a really great episode? Let's find out. The episode opens with the Griffins watching the news that says that Brad Pitt is coming to town to film a new movie about former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. First off, Family Guy makes jokes about this politician a lot. He literally has his own Family Guy wiki page by this point. Meg was mistaken for Christie in the episode Trump Guy.
Sorry, everyone thinks you're a historically unpopular fatso from New Jersey.
Whatever.
And in another episode, his photo is literally on Meg's fake ID. But yes, going back to the episode, and Peter is complaining that a thin guy like Brad Pitt shouldn't be able to play a more chunky guy.
That's offensive, and I, for one, will not stand for it. Although that's mostly due to cardiovascular disease.
Lois doesn't care though, she's excited, going on to say that she can't remember the last time that a celebrity visited Quahog. But hello Lois, did you forget that Kevin James literally stayed at your house only a few months ago?
Kevin James?
Hi, Peter.
Or are you just being a shady lady? Anyway, it's after this that Peter then brings up Jared Fogle.
Get your hands off me, Jared!
And oh my god, are we still making Jared Fogle jokes in 2024? However, there was one joke I liked, and it was when Peter said that women will never understand the impossible standards of beauty as men, before immediately saying this.
Jennifer Lawrence has a new movie.
Too old. Next.
And it's after this we then get a cutaway of Peter standing up to Kanye West, telling him to take off his shoes while he's doing his ranting and raving.
And Hitler would have won Wimbledon if he played tennis, bro.
Sir, we do not wear shoes in this house.
Side note, does anyone remember when Kanye West was a semi-regular guest on the Cleveland Show? He appeared in like 5 of them. Also, speaking of the Cleveland Show, and Junior is briefly seen while Peter stages a protest against the whole Brad Pitt, Chris Christie movie.
Overweight is overdue! Overweight is overdue!
Wow.
And once again, he doesn't say a word, but I'm not surprised by this point now. By the way, would any of you be interested in a deep dive of him? We could look at how he changed from being a super energetic, fast-talking kid into a more slower and much larger kid, as well as going into his evolution throughout both shows. Let me know if that interests you. It's back at the protest where Peter bumps into Ellie.
Am I right?
That's good.
And I forgot how much I loved this character. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last time we saw her was when she started a romance with Dr. Hartman back in season 20, but I guess they abandoned that.
I'm looking forward to the doctor being in.
Ooh.
Which is a shame because it might have been at least a bit interesting to see that unfold a bit more. It could have been funny seeing Peter give some bad advice to Dr. Hartman while Lois gave some to Ellie. Maybe there could have been a wedding. I don't know, it's not really a big deal, but I just appreciate those rare times where Family Guy carries on with some kind of continuity. And speaking of continuity, my friend Dan the Man brought up that this was a missed opportunity to bring back Lois's brother Patrick, aka the Fat Guy Strangler. You know, seeing as this was all about fat guy representation and all that. Now that could have been funny. Anyway, long tangent over, let's get back to the plot. So it gets to the point where Peter raises such a stink that he gets a meeting with a movie executive.
Mr. Griffin, thank you for meeting with us. Have a seat. Not on my lap.
And to ease tensions, Peter is hired as Pitt's weight gain coach, which basically means teaching him all the ways of being an overweight man.
Now, another fat guy rule is that when you're out at restaurants, always act like you're on the fence about dessert.
In all honesty, I don't really think they take much advantage of Pitt's character at all here. For one, he doesn't really sound like him, and all of the jokes are really kind of lame.
That's a sticky handshake you got there, Chris.
But what was funny was when Pitt joins them for dinner and Meg calls all of her friends to show off about it, only for no one to pick up and the call just kept on going.
Oh boy.
This was perhaps the best joke in the episode, although they then repeated it again, but this time with Peter, and it totally fell flat. But at least Joe asking all the rules about Fight Club was kind of funny. Another moment that made me laugh was when Lois, Meg, and Stewie all fight over Brad.
Hi, I'm...
Stuart, charmed.
So it ends up that Peter does such a great job at teaching Brad Pitt of how to be fat, he overeats and completely throws out his back. So with their lead actor out, Peter steps in. Lois is a bit hesitant about this because Peter doesn't know how to act, but he counters this by saying he acts all of the time like faking his orgasms.
Oh, no? Yes, Lois. Yes, yes. Oh! Sound familiar?
We then cut to a musical montage of Peter acting on the film with a song saying how much making a film is so tedious. And it's not wrong, I wanted to try out in the movie business and I managed to get a job as a film marshal on Jurassic World 3 and they spent 2 days just filming a single footprint. A footprint that wasn't in the movie, it was in the freaking prologue. No joke, my experience on that set was just so unpleasant that it totally put me off a career in filmmaking for life. But my ruined hopes and dreams aside, however, we then cut to the premiere of the movie. And Stewie is all excited to be asked who he's wearing, but instead, he just gets questioned about the show's controversial humour.
Decades of misogyny, homophobia, and racially insensitive stereotyping.
I have to say that Stewie is so funny in this episode.
Hey! Ow! That's your father's movie up there. Pay attention, you dope.
Which is great, because I think he has mostly faded into the background for most of this season. His side plots have been very underwhelming. Back to the episode and everyone's watching the Chris Christie movie, and they all know the film is crap but still try to spare Peter's feelings, but he knows his acting stunk.
Didn't you notice half the time I was staring right into the camera? They had to use peanut butter to get me on my mark.
Peter then comes to realise that he was wrong and any actor can take on any role, regardless of their gender, sexuality or the colour of their skin.
Maybe we should all spend less time judging and more time enjoying what different actors bring to different roles.
The episode ends like how every single Family Guy episode ends, with them all on the couch. And then we get Lois's and Peter's admission that they slept with other people.
Yeah, the money was good, but I got tired of all the one-night stands.
What?
Huh?
So if you've been watching my videos for a long time, then you might know my thoughts about these infidelity jokes. They are just so overused. And just in last week's episode, they told two cheating jokes. You don't need that many cheating jokes, people.
Sorry, my ears have been clogged since I made out with that guy from the film crew.
What?
Huh?
We get it. They're in a loveless marriage and are cheating on each other. Very funny. We get it now. Please make it stop. We get a bit more after this where Stewie is saying that he really wants to get into acting before we then get a cutaway of him performing in A Streetcar Named Desire.
Della! What?
Is Aiden home?
I didn't really get this joke, so I had to look it up, and all I found was that an actor called Aidan Quinn played Stanley in the stage show in 1988, which is a bit random, but I guess all of Stewie's lines can't be a winner. And so that's the end of the episode. This was yet again a very middle-of-the-road kind of episode. A few good jokes, but not nearly enough to make up for an otherwise very bland episode. I'm awarding it 3 out of 5 stars. So here are my rankings so far for season 22, and the only rating I have changed in retrospect is episode 9's The Return of the King of Queens. This is from 2 stars to now just 1. And as you can see, all of my ratings are all over the place. Out of the 14 episodes, I only really liked 4 of them, and the rest I was either indifferent to or just flat out hated. And I know I've used this comparison before, but just look at what The Simpsons are doing.
Okay, maybe I am being a teensy bit negative.
The writers are really trying new things and actually experimenting. It doesn't always work, but at least they're trying. And I have honestly been loving a few episodes of the recent season. Whereas with Family Guy, it just feels so stagnant and a bit stuck in a rut. Next week is the season finale, and I was honestly shocked when I found out that there was only going to be 15 episodes in total, but I think that might be down to the recent writer's strike. But with Fox moving Family Guy from Sundays to Wednesdays, it does have me a little bit worried that the executives are slowly trying to get rid of the show. Because apparently the viewership numbers are down too. I hope not though. Because despite my gripes with the recent low quality, I really don't want Family Guy to be cancelled. But you know what, I am really hopeful for next week's episode because it sounds like we are finally getting another fun Stewie and Brian time-travelling adventure again. This episode is entitled Faith No More, and the synopsis says when Brian becomes romantically interested in someone, it inspires him to use Stewie's time machine and some strange consequences occur. It sounds very fun, but I try not to get my hopes up. And so we've come to the end of the video. What did you think of this episode and the season as a whole so far? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.